Okay, let me share the screen. Yeah. So this is what we did in the last session. What we did, we created a Flask application, and inside the Flask application, we have few routes. So this is the the main file of the application. We have a route slash which will load the application, like it will render the index.html. This is kind of the main file. So and then we have few more routes slash profile slash user, and we have a before first request. So before making the first request, what our application will do, it will create all the tables in the database. It will create the table. If exists, then it will leave, otherwise it will create the all the tables. And so we had model user, and the user had few properties like id, username, email, password, active. fs unifier was the new thing we discussed. Like fs unifier is the attribute which it's used to generate the authentication token, and the ctn roles I have added. So and the roles and the user has many to many relationship, and this is the relationship table for the roles and users. This is the roles table. Roles table doesn't have a lot of properties. It has only ID, name, and description. And this is the table is which is the relationship table between user and the roles. And one more thing in the so we created a config.py file, and in the config.py file we added few configurations like the SQL Alchemy database URI, which you already know, and the secret key. So whenever you will work with the session in the Flask, you'll have to set the secret key. So that's why, and the Flask login is built on top of the Flask login, and Flask login is built on top of the session. So the security key was necessary, and the security password salt was used to encrypt the this is the salt used to encrypt the password, and the track modification you already know, and the WTF CSRF enabled is used is false. That is, we don't want the CSRF token uh, to be sent to the server. And the security token authentication header, like this is the authentication token will be the header where the user will send the token. Like whenever the user will send a request to a protected route, the user will have to send a header authentication token with the authentication token, and after verifying the user's request with the authentication token, server will again respond. And then the main.py I have already discussed, and we have a SQL Alchemy data store. So what the data store is kind of is a like bunch of functions with bunch of inbuilt function related to the databases. And so we are loading this development config from the config file and init.app, and this is like, and this is how you create the security instance. You pass the app and the data store. And then what I'll do, I'll just quickly to here go here, and let's check not the profile. So the profile Flask security, if you have set up the Flask security correctly, then you will be able to make a request to the slash login endpoint, and if you'll add this query parameter include auth token, then Flask security will send you the authentication token. Let's try. Okay, the connection was refused. That is, the application is not running. What was that? Task. So let me run this application quickly. Python 3 .py. main.py. Python 3 main.py. Let us wait
Sir,
for
this is set up in Windows, sir. This I didn't
yeah,
I.
it is with WSI.
Okay. So, what this particular I'm seeing that master and all what it used to do. I used to do in VC code that particular terminal I used to do and I used to do all these things.
Okay, here
Yeah.
this master. This is the master branch. Master branch. I have pushed all the code to the GitHub. So I'm using Git in order
Okay.
to pull and push the code.
Okay. So once you done all these things in VS Code, it directly push it into Git. Sir. Is
Yeah,
it
yeah,
like that?
yes.
Okay.
So let me send the request. You can only access this endpoint when it's logged in. When not
Sir,
logged in.
I got the same like 400 bad requests I'm getting when I'm pushing through this.
Okay, so let me. Okay, what you'll need to do here is uh, go to the local host 5000 and in the application go to the session storage. No, no. Here look for the head cookies and clear all cookies. And now if I'll go here response, then you can see that the authentication token is here. So actually what happens, as I said that the Flask security is built on top of the Flask login. So whenever you make a request at this endpoint, it sends the authentication token. If you will not include this auth token, it will only send the cookie. But if you are sending using this include auth token, it will send the authentication token, also the cookie. So if I will make request again, it will throw the same error because the cookie is saved. So this client is thinking that the user is already logged in. So in order to make the request, you'll have to remove the cookie or you'll have to log out. And now if I'll make a request, then you'll see that the authentication token is here. So what I'll do, I'll copy this authentication token and before making this authentication, using this authentication, let's delete this cookie first. Uh, let's delete all the cookies and try to make a request to the profile log. Profile, to the profile and go to the response. You'll see that that's the 404. Okay, this is the post method now. Get request. If I'll make it sends the this response that 401 that the you are not authenticated. Please supply the correct credential. The reason for that is here if you go to the main.py and see this slash profile endpoint. So I have added one more decorator auth required token, and what this does, unless you send the token, it will not send the response. This is the protected route. So it is asking for sending a token.
Sir, for unique user ID and password, there will be unique token. It will not change again and again, right?
No, no, but it changes, but I mean, it doesn't affect. So even if I change and uh, if you'll take any of the tokens, it will work. it changes at for each request. I'll show you. See, let's make to the. Sometimes it changes, sometimes it doesn't change. Include include auth token. Identity attribute.
We are doing get request. No?
Clear all, and then let's. Okay, it's a get request. So I'll have to make a post request. And if I'll go to the response, then it starts. This token starts with WYIOMN. And let's clear this and again send the request. Let's see, it doesn't change, and sometimes it changes also. So I don't know. Yeah, but you are not audible.
So, like I was asking, is authentication token different from Nikifier?
I'm not able to hear you clearly. Can you try speaking louder?
Am I audible now?
Yeah, your voice is breaking.
Can I type instead?
So you can write it in the chat.
Okay.
So now what I'll do, I'll copy this token, and what I'll do, I'll make new request here, and if I'll make a request, you can see that it returns the Narendra. But if I will not include this authentication token, and let's see how it behaves. It doesn't send you the response. It will send you this div ID app. I mean this one. It will not send you the response. So let's try
Sir,
it.
her doubt is in chat box, sir. She typed them.
Okay. Yes. FSN unifier is used to generate the authentication token. Both are not same.
So both are different.
Yeah, both are different. But FS unifier is used to generate the authentication token. It's kind of a salt for the authentication token. And it somehow uses this FS unifier and generate a token. So, and if I'll use this authentication token and send the request, then you will see that I will get this name, I'll get this response. And if I'll not include this token, then I'll not get the response.
But every time we require to do manually that keeping the token every user,
Yeah,
we require to keep that.
so what you will do, you'll store this authentication token in local storage, and whenever you are making a request, you will add this authentication token, and you'll fetch this authentication token from the local storage, and then add a header authentication token, and then send a request. Then you will able to get the data.
Sir, every ID will have unique authentication token.
Every ID means every profile. Like
Yeah.
everyone will have the different authentication token.
Sir, I am getting a error. It's like the CSRF token is missing.
So I think you have missed one configuration. So let me go there, and inside the config.py, so WTF CSRF enabled is equal to false. Have you added this configuration?
No, sir.
So that's why that error, because the Flask security is expecting the CSRF token. So
I got a error like failed to decode JSON object, expecting and hash 39 delimiter line 3. Like that error I'm getting. This delimiters,
in this page,
no, when I'm doing post request with the same profile, only for profile I went for post request.
post request, but it
Yeah.
accept the get request. Uh, so you are making a post request, but it accepts the get request. It will throw 405. I'll make a post request. Yeah, 405 method not allowed.
And user, sir, instead of profile, if we put user, then
User accepts the get. I think user is a post accept the post request.
sir, in post request only I got error.
Okay, so I'll go there and try to make a post request. I'll create one more. I'll add one more. I'll copy this. Okay, user is already here. I'll make a post request to the user, and here inside the body I'll send a JSON
Email and password.
email uh, NARENDRA 2@com, and then password 1234. It says the user created. Maybe you are using single quote for the double quote.
Okay, sir, let me check again. I will come to you.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, I am getting a error. It's telling that 500 internal server error.
There is something wrong with your code. So what we will do now, uh, so I'll go to the include of token, not in the users, login include of token, and I have this authentication token. Okay, I'll keep it here, and I'll remove all this, and let's see how we can integrate this with our application. So what I'll do, I'll go to the code, and inside the profile, inside the templates, I have this index.html, and inside the static we have index.js, which has all these routes, login, profile, and slash, and here it will show all the component which it's supposed to be shown. Like for the profile, it will show the the component which is related to the path slash profile, and for the login it will show the component related to the uh, to the to the path login. So if you go to the router, so for the login it shows the login component, for the profile slash profile it shows the profile component. So what I'll do, I'll go to the to the components, and inside the components I'll go to the profile.js, and inside the profile.js, for now what we are doing, just we are just saying that this is the profile page. But what I'll do, fetch the data I'll just fetch the data from the server data in our component. So for that, I'll use the mounted hook, and here what I'll do, I'll just make a fetch request, fetch slash uh, slash profile and then if successful, then I'll take the response, and what I'll do, I'll just console.log res dot okay, this one dot status. So let's go here and rerun this app. It's already running. Okay, let me close this for now. If I'll go to the profile, show the profile page here, and let me go to the console, it doesn't show anything. Let me delete this, and the cookies. Okay, in the cookies, I'll remove the cookie for 5,000. Okay, let's go and see. Yeah, it shows the 200. But why does this show that? Okay, it will see how this Flask security works is, if you are not logged in, then it will send you the login form, and if you have used the authentication token, then it will send you the response. Understood what
Can you
I'm saying?
show again, sir, that?
So if I'll go here and try to, if you'll see that this is sending 200, even if I am not authenticated. So the problem is it is sending. Let me try to fetch the response text. One dot. Let me, this was response dot text response text. Let's see what's sending. Okay, I'm not able to see here. Let me check for the another thought. Actually, it is an HTML. The response is an HTML, not a JSON. It has sent you the login form which you are not using. Text. There was this text dot body, not JSON. That I know. It's dot body. But let's not worry about here. Let's go to the Thunderbolt Thunder client, and then let's make a request for the profile slash user profile, and let's remove all the cookies. Let's make a request get says 401 unauthorized. Okay, let me make a request to the where is that index.js, not in the profile.js. Instead of using now, let's try to again send the request, and let's go here, and instead of a response dot uh, status, let's see whether it says the 401 or not. Again sends 201 200. Let me delete this. Local storage is nothing. I mean, this endpoint sends the 401 here and 200 here. I don't know why. Slash profile get request 401 unauthorized. File.js. Dot is okay. Let me add this header of headers. Authentication token. I take the authentication token from here. file.js. Let me check for the correct header. Profile, then headers, authentication token. I'll copy this header. Okay, that is fine. A response. Console.log, instead of writing the console.log, return response.json, then data dot log data. Let's go here and try to sending. If I'm sending this authentication token, I am able to get the data. Let me remove this and try to fetch this one and see what happens. If this has, if I'll not send the data, it's sending the HTML. I have no idea why. Because there it's sending the code, the status code is there is index.html. Sorry, it's okay, like 200, but in, in Thunder client, it the status is 401, but here it's 400. 200. I don't know why. Maybe I am making mistake which I am not able to figure out. But if I'll add this authentication token, then you'll see that you'll be able to get this JSON. But it should throw. But if I'm not adding this authentication token, it should send me the 401. Let me modify this authentication token and let's see what happens. It still sends the okay. But if I send the authentication token, it will send me this data. Why is that? One sec, I'll plug in the charger. Okay, let's not waste the time and let's move forward. I'll see why this is not throwing 401. It should be throwing 401. So what I need to do is like I need to provide this authentication token with every request. For every for whenever I am making a request to the protected route, I'll have to send this authentication token with the request. So what I'll do, I'll just whenever I am logging. So when I am logging, what I am doing right now is I just logging. I am doing this console.log the authentication token. So instead of logging to the console, what I'll do, I'll just go and store it in the local storage. What I'll do, I'll just local storage dot set item. I'll use the auth token name as auth token, and the value will be the data dot user dot response dot token. So this way, what I'll be doing, I'll be storing this authentication token which I received from logging in the local storage. And then whenever I'll make a request, I'll pull this data from the local storage. So let's go here, and for now let's minimize this and go to the login route. And when I'll go to the login route,
Sir, what is the difference between this local token and cookies? Are the same or they are different?
no, they are the like. One sec. So they all are stored in the browser, but like whenever you will make a request, then if you are making a request to the server which set the cookie to your browser, then cookie will automatically be sent with the request. But the authentication, but if you will store the data in the local storage or session storage, you will have to send the token explicitly. The browser will not automatically send that data. But in case of the cookie, the cookie will be sent with the request automatically. The browser will automatically send the cookie to the server who has set this cookie. And so this is the difference between the cookie and the local storage and session storage. And in the local storage and session storage, the difference is the local storage is kind of persistent. If you'll stop the session means if you'll close the browser, if you'll close the tab, the local storage data will not be removed. But in case of session storage, if you'll close the tab, the session storage data will be gone. So the session storage data is only kept till the tab is open, like just for a session. But in the local storage, the data will remain even if you close the tab. But this social session storage and local storage data will not be sent with the request by the browser. You will have to explicitly send it with the in the headers or wherever you want, but you will have to send it explicitly. It will not be sent automatically. Understood?
Yes.
Okay. So now if I'll go here and go to the local storage, you can see that there is no data here, no key value pair. But if I will go and start, and if I log in, then let's make a and password 1234. Let's log in. If you log in, you will see that there is a authentication token session storage data or local storage data. You'll see that this data has been stored here. So what you can do, you can and this data will remain here always, unless you delete this data. Even if you close this tab, this data will not be gone. So you can keep the user logged in if he doesn't like delete this local storage data. So once you logged in,
If we delete that one, we will be out of that profile. No?
yeah, if the user will delete it, that authentication token is gone. He'll have to again log in. And then inside this profile.js, what I'll do, I will, so in authentication token, I will get this authentication token from local storage dot get item, and then auth token. So I will make sure auth token. So I'll get this auth token. So you will see that if I'll go visit the profile, I'll visit the profile and go to the console, you'll see that I am able to fetch this data because I have sent the authentication token. So whenever you are making a request to the protected route, what you will do, you will send the authentication token in the header. So whenever you are logging in the user, store this authentication. You get the authentication token, store that in the local storage, and whenever the user is making request, you get the authentication token from the local storage and then send the request. Okay, and one more thing I would like to do here. Once I'll set this authentication token, what you can do, you can, okay, dot router dot push slash. Okay, let me log in. So let me add one more uh, index.json. Let me add one more uh, anchor tag, and I'll call it logout slash a. Logout. Let's keep it a button. Button no. A. And one more thing I would like to show you is like if I'll go here and see the cookies, then you'll see that there is a cookie here, which is set by the Flash security. So this cookie will be sent every time the user will make a request. So if the user will try to again log in, this the server will get this cookie and will think that the user is already logged in. So this will create a problem. So before logging, what you can do, you can log out, and for that you don't have to make any endpoint. What you can do, you can just use the slash logout endpoint. Href is equal to slash logout, and this endpoint you don't have to create, because This is already created uh, in the Flask security. So you don't have to create this endpoint. This is already created. So let's go here and again refresh this page, and you could see that. So if I'll go here and see, there is a session here, but if I'll go and log out, you could see that this like the Flash security is it's sending the user to the home page. And if I'll go and check, okay, maybe I'll have to, this should have been deleted. So let's do one thing. Let's go and log in again. Password 1234. And what I'll do, I'll go and log in again. And let's go and check to the console. There is no error. narendra@gmail.com and password 1234. You'll see that this is not working. The reason is, you'll see that the cannot read property of undefined reading response. I mean, the server is thinking that you are already logged in, so why you are logging in? For that, you'll have to log out first. Once you are log out, and then if you'll again log in, and if you'll now log in, you will be able to log in. There is no error. Okay.
Sir, these login profile, everything has been defined already in Flash security, right?
Yes. No, no. Profile I have created. The login
Okay.
and logout is already defined. Slash login slash logout, these are already defined. But this profile and slash, these are the custom endpoints. You can see here, main.py. I have written inside the main.py. So this is the slash profile. What I'm doing, I'm just sending this name Narendra.
And this user one.
A user, like I have defined for creating a user.
Okay.
A slash user, you can make a post request with the email ID and password, and it will create a user, and then you can log in.
But there is a function like slash logins logout
Yeah.
to create user.
No, no. Only login and logout is there
Okay.
in the Flask security, and these three endpoints I have created manually. These endpoints I have defined. Slash login and slash logout is already defined in Flask security. So you don't have to implement those. Okay, and one more thing I was thinking that uh, instead of I'll go to the index.js, the one thing that can create a problem, that even if you are able to log in, but I'm not deleting this local storage data. So even if the user is logged in, the authentication token is still saved. So it is, the user is not technically logged out. the cookie is deleted, but this auth token is still there. So you'll have to delete this auth token. So when clicking on this one, you'll have to delete the auth token. So what you can do, you can create a methods, and I'll the logout. I'll create a logout method, and what I'll do, I'll remove that auth token. Local storage. Okay, why this red color? Methods, and then logout, local storage dot remove item auth token, authentication token. I'll remove this authentication token, and then what I'll do, I'll just add this. And one more thing you can do, window dot location dot href is equal to slash logout and here what you can do, I'll remove this one and add instead of using anchor tag, I can add a link, and let's use a button. You can choose any tag, button, and then inside the button, what I'll do, I'll associate this logout with this button. So whenever someone will click on this button, I'll add the logout. What this logout will do, it will remove the authentication token and then direct it to the logout endpoint that will log the user out. Logout. So let's go here and refresh this page. And let's go to the logout and let's check. You can see that the local storage data is gone. And if I will go and try to go for the profile, and here you will see that this is okay, but where is the profile.js? But I am not able to log this data. So for that, because I am logged out, for that I'll have to go and log in narendra@gmail.com and password 1234. And then once I'll log in, and then if I'll go to the profile, and if I'll go here, you can see that I am able to paste this data. So any question? So how you can log out the user? So one thing you'll have to take care of whenever you are logging out the user, you'll have to remove the authentication token from the local storage, and then like redirect the user to the logout so that it will delete the cookie. So you are deleting both of these things. Is it okay? You can do a lot of things. You just have to explore a bit. Like if you want, you can stop user to access any of this. I mean, whenever the user is not logged in, the user will be redirected to the login page. If the user is logged in, then the login button will not be shown. I mean, you can do a lot of things. I mean, what I am showing here is bare minimal thing. How you can log in the user using Flask security, and how you can log out the user, how you can store the data inside the local storage, and how you can how you can store the authentication token in the local storage, and then whenever you are making a request to the protected endpoint, you can retrieve that authentication token and send it along with the request as authentication token header. So any question, because this is the basic thing which you will require for your application, for your project. So I'll assume that you guys have understood. And one thing you can do is like you can use the loading and error.js pages in any of your, see the profile page of, let's, of name. So if I'll go here and see that the name is equal to Narendra, so this is the response. So I'll make a fetch request with this authentication header with authentication token, and if I'll get the response, I'll remove this one. I'll define the data property here, data, write the data, I'll return, and let's call it name. I'll keep it null, and as soon as I'll get the response, the data, I know the how the what is the structure of this data. The structure of the data is just simple JSON name Narendra. So what I'll do, I'll just add the name. I'll replace the value of the name with the name which I received from the server. This dot name is equal to data dot name. If I'll go here and I hope I am logged in. So you can see that this is the profile page of Narendra, and you can add the loading page and the like loading icons and the error.js here. So for example, what I can do here, I'll add one more div and wrap it inside this div slash div. And if I'll go to the loading.js, it says that the loading only, and the error, some error. And if I'll go here inside the profile.js, I will add one more data as error. I'll start with the false, and here what I can do, I can just use these components the error component and loading component here. I'll add the components. Okay. Components here. Before that I'll have to import these two components. I'll import this loading.js, import loading.js, loading from loading.js, and then I'll import error from error.js, and then I'll register these two components here, loading and error, and then here what I will do, I'll just use this loading. I'll not use this loading. What I'll do, I'll add the I'll use this if is equal to name. If I'll get the name from the server, I'll display this thing, or if there is an error, else if is equal to has error. If there is some error, then it will show the error, or just show the loading. If neither error nor the name, like the name I have not gotten, or if there is no error, then keep on loading. Else is equal to has error. Has error. I'll look for the name. If there is no name, like the value of the name is falsy value, then I'll go to the head. I'll check whether there is an error. If there is no error, then I'll keep on loading. So let's go here and go for the profile. Then you'll see that it immediately shows the loading and then shows the Narendra. As soon as it gets the value of the name, it shows the Narendra. Otherwise, it will show the loading. And if there is some error, it will show the error page. Do you guys have any question? So if you guys have no question, then we can go ahead and start the salary. Okay. So what I will do now, I'll stop this application. I'll be back in a minute. Hello. So now what we'll do, will be covering the salary. So what the salary is? Salary is a task queue. Salary is a task queue which is used to distribute the task between the different workers. So let's say you have a long running task and you don't want to do that task in the main thread. And what you can do, you can create a salary task and give it to the worker. And once the worker completes the task, and after that you can get the result and show it to the user. In short, if you have a long running task that is going to block the main thread, then you can start a new thread and run that task in the separate thread. And once that task is done, you can get the data. I mean, you can store the result in some in a message group, in a like backend. What do we say? Inside a inside a result backend, and you store your task in the brokers message broker. See what happens. So salary just manages the task, and what it does, it takes the task and distributes it to the different workers, and then worker completes the task and save the results in a backend, in a result backend. And then you can get that data from the result backend and use wherever you want. So whenever you have a long running task, you can use the salary. So what we will do, we'll start setting up the salary. So for that you will need a message broker. So for as a message broker, I will be using the Redis. So what I will do, and salary, and the Redis is a key value store. Key value store. I mean, this is a in memory database which stores the data in terms of key value. So I'll start the salary. I'll start the Redis server. What? What happened? Okay. I'll have to go and restart my computer. So I'll be joining in a minute. I'm not able to start the Redis server. But then the recording will stop.
We are unable to listen you, sir. You're speaking, sir.
Hello. So I don't know if the Redis is working in background. So I'll be explaining the salary. I don't know. I'm not able to see the interface where the Redis server is running, but I am able to ping the Redis. Okay, where is the salary? salary. So you can create the salary application. Salary application, you can either use the salary application uh, like independently, or you can create a salary application and integrate it with the Flask. So by integrating it with the Flask means, so whatever the task you will run in the application context. But if you want, you can use the salary application without any, without any Flask application. You don't need to have a Flask application in order to run the salary. So I will go and I'll be teaching, I'll be like explaining how you can set up the salary application. So I'll go start with from here. Okay, let me salary. I'll go to the salary documentation. Getting started. In the getting started, I will go to the get started. Sure, installation backend features service. First step to the salary. First step in the salary. So the first thing you will have to do, I'll start with creating a. I'll create an application first. I'll go to the cd mat 2 for ls scp live session, and then ls mkdir salary demo, and then cd demo, and then I'll code. There I'll stop the previous folder. I have created a salary demo here folder, and then I'll create a virtual environment, virtual env venv, virtual virtual env venv, and then I'll go to the, I'll activate this virtual environment venv slash bin slash activate, and then inside this virtual environment I'll install Redis and salary. Pip install salary, so in our use case, what we will do, we will use the Redis as a message broker, and we will use the SQLite database as a result backend. Like we will store the task which is scheduled in the Redis database, and whatever the whatever the result of that task will be, we will store the result of that task in the SQLite database. But if you want, you can use the Redis for the result backend also. But in the usual scenario, this is what will happen. So you start a task. So for storing the task, you will use the Redis database or RabbitMQ, whatever the message broker you want, and then once the task is complete, you will store the result of that task in the like SQLite database or any database. So let me is it finished? Okay, and I will need one more thing. Pip install Redis. I'll need this Redis. Now, what I will do, I'll create a module. I'll call it workers.py, and inside this workers.py, let me again ping the Redis database. Even is it alive? So now let's see how you can create a Redis a salary application. So
Sir, this 6379 is port number for Redis in
yeah,
every lab. Yeah.
yes. This is port number for Redis. So Redis is an indexed database. You can use I'll be using the index one database for the Redis. So I don't know whether you guys know about the Redis or not. So what I'll say that think of a Redis as a key value store. It stores the data as a key value. Set,
Okay,
let's say,
sir. Sir, in our project, actually, SQLite is there, and the authorization tokens we can save it in local database that we shown as previously. And Redis, it is new for us. I don't know.
okay. So Redis is you can think of it as it's a in memory, means the data is stored in the RAM, so it is extremely fast. And this is
Okay.
a key value store. Like if so, the way you store the data is like you write the set keyword and write the key name and then whatever the value you want to store. So you have stored a name variable whose value is Narendra in your Redis database. So it says the okay. So now if you want to get the name, you can see that this will give you the name. This is just a key value store. So what the salary does, it stores it maintains a dictionary with the name of the task and the code that I like the definition of the task, and it stores, and whenever some user trigger a task, it pushes the task name inside the Redis database, and then the workers will take those tasks and complete it and push the result in the result backend. What happens? Okay, in the workers, what you can do, I'll just copy and paste this. There is no point in I'll copy everything. just import the salary. So what I'm saying that we will be creating a salary instance. So from the salary, import the salary, and then whenever you are creating a salary instance, you pass the module name first. The first argument is the module name. So this, okay, I will be using the workers. Workers or so this is the module name, and then you define the broker. Broker means wherever the tasks will be posted. So as I said that we will be using this Redis database as a message broker. So what I'll do, I'll change this URL and then I'll use the Redis. REDIS. Redis, and then localhost host, and then you will define 6379 6379. Okay, localhost 6379. I hope the port is correct. 6379, yes. So what you can see that I am using this Redis localhost 6379. By default, it will store everything in the 0th index database, but I'll be using the index 1 database. And then I have a task. So the task is simply a function which is decorated with this app.task decorator. So you can, if you want, because you will be using this task in the context of in the Flask application also. So I'll keep the name of our Flask application app. So I'll give this name salary. I'll give the name salary to the salary instance. It might conflict, so I'll call cell app, salary app. So instead of app, cell app. So this is the salary instance where the module name is workers and the message broker is this Redis database. And this is the task. So you can call this task and this task will run asynchronously. Asynchronously means this will not block your main thread. It will run in different thread. So you can run multiple tasks concurrently, and once each task is complete, you can get the results of all those tasks. So then what you can do now, what I'll do, I'll run this salary app. This is all you need to do to create a salary application. And then you will run this application by let me salary, the name is salary, and then you'll give the application workers, and I should have kept this name as tasks. Rename tasks. TASKS task view. So this shows that this is a application. So this is the name of the module, and if name of the module and this flag shows that this is the application, this task, this module is the application, and then let's say task, and then you add the worker, and then you can set the log label. I'll set the log label info. What happened? Okay, I'll have to go to this folder first. And then I'll have to start the venv slash bin slash. Then
Sir, what is this bin active, sir? Every time you are writing this, I don't know.
I am activating the virtual environment. See, every
Without virtual environment also we can do now, because I never done this one, and I'm executing that it is working okay.
yeah, you can, if you don't want, then you can, you, I mean, even if you don't create the virtual environment, you can install everything in your system.
Okay.
But that is not a good idea, because sometimes you want to use some module which is compatible with Python 3, and sometimes you want to use some module which compatible with Python 2. So if you use your like computer for, if you will not create a virtual environment, this may create a conflict.
Okay.
By the virtual environment, it's a like isolated environment which you can in which you can install all your dependencies and then activate that environment and then run your application in those environments. So when I ran this application, you can see that the salary, you can see these configurations. So the first thing you should see, so you can see here the task is listed here. So there is only one task, add. So this task is listed here, and you can see that this is the four. There are four workers which can be assigned tasks, and you can see that the message broker which we are using here is a Redis database with this one, with like this Redis database we are using, and this is the app. So the module name is task, and this is situated here. I mean, this is the memory location, and we can run four concurrent tasks, maximum four concurrent tasks. And if I want to, so how would you? I'll show how this tasks will run. I'll start the Ubuntu. Let me see. Okay, this is this one is free. So what I'll do, I'll Python 3, and inside the Python 3, I'll import this. Import EAS. Import add from tasks. Okay, I have made a mistake. From tasks, import add. So I have imported this add function here, and if I will run this add dot delay 4 and 4, and let's see what happens. You can see that it is giving me a ID. This is the task ID. So if you go here and see, okay, one thing I would like to show you, like if you go here, then you can see that in this in the terminal, you can see that this task has been initiated. That this if you see the console, you can see this terminal. You can see that the task has been received. The task with this ID has been received by the salary, and this has been successful in this seconds and with the result 8. But we are not storing this task anywhere because we have not configured the the result backend. So for that, what we can do, I'll write the backend. So let's keep the backend as a Redis. In the next session, we will configure the backend as a SQLite database. I'll use the two here. So this is the backend. So everything will be stored inside this backend. This in this database. I'll have to restart this salary worker. I'll restart the salary worker. So even if we have the task ID, but we have because we have not stored the result in any place, we will not be able to get the result of this task. So what I will do, so if you want to get this data, let me see whether the salary has started or not. Okay, the salary has started. Now if you want to get the data, either you can use the get method in order to get the data, or you can take the task ID and you can get the result produced by the task later. So what you can do, you can take the ID of the task which was created, and then you can store the task ID and the result in the result backend, and in the future, whenever you need, you can use that task ID and then get the result. But that storing thing we will discuss in the next session. What I'll show you that how you can get the result of this of any task. So I will Python 3 from tasks import add. Okay, and then I will use the R is add dot delay. We'll discuss it in more detail in the next session. And I'll just 3 and 4. I'll pass 3 and 4. So this R will have, and if you want to get the R dot status of the task, STA, status of the task, you can see that the status of the task is success. And if you want to get the result, R dot get, and this will give you the result of whatever is the return value of this task. So we initiated this task with the 3 4, and then we got the result 7.
Sir, one doubt, sir.
Yeah.
In our project, how we require to include these two? Because it is also requirement that we can use this Redis and salary.
Yeah, so you can use this.
Any hint like how we are using this?
So the salary bit has like simple application. You can make a scheduled task. Scheduled task means if you want to send a report to the user, then you can create a scheduled task, and then you can. I mean, this will be automatically sent according to the configuration. If you have set your configuration in such a way that it will send the mail on Monday 9 a.m., then it will send the mail at the 9 a.m. Automatically. One thing, and then if you the second, so if you want your user to download a report or upload anything which will take like a lot of time to upload or download, then you can start a salary task in the background instead of like doing your database operations in the main thread. So it will be more clear if you
Okay.
when we will reach to the salary beat or something. So you can automate a
Right.
set of tasks.
Right.
Okay, so this is how you can get the result. I mean, this is similar to the promise which you use in the JavaScript. So whenever you are using a promise, you are not doing that process inside the main thread. You are like doing it in the separate thread, and once the process is done, then you are getting the result of that in dot then block. Or if there is some error, then you can catching it in the catch block. I mean, this is similar to this, but in the Python. So you will be using it in the backend. So any you can use it in any long running task. Like if you want to generate a report which will fetch all which will fetch a lot of data from the database, which will take a lot of time, like it will do a lot of calculation and things, then you can create a separate task, and then it will not block your server will just send a task id to the client, and then it's done. Or you just send the response that processing, and then once the process is complete, it is stored in the database, then you can fetch the data from the database. So the main idea is the server should not be blocked if there is some long running task. The similar way, the browser should not be tasked, it should not be blocked if you will not use the promise or like asynchronous operations. The problem with the browser is it will be blocked. The user will not be do any movement on the browser. The similar thing we want to simulate on the server. We don't want our server's main thread to be blocked. Understood?
Yeah, sir.
Okay, we will discuss rest of the thing in the next session. I thought I will be able to complete everything in this session. Okay, if you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, we can close the session. Okay, thanks for joining. Bye.